this is what we call the navigation pane. And the navigation pane has rows, columns, and the view filters in it. And for rows, columns, and filters, and as you might imagine, these are rows, up here are columns, and then a filter is something that limits the data that's being displayed in this grid that I have displayed here. If you remember when we talked last time, rows, I'm currently looking at divisions. If I click on the header for divisions, it's going to drill down in a subtotal mode. If I drill on an individual one, it's going to drill just on that one. So I can click on the F here, and that drilled me down to product brand, and it's going to follow along with what I have up here. Now, what we really want to spend time on today, we talked about drilling last time, is how do I add dimensions to these things? So let's say I want to get the, I don't know, let's say I want some customer information in here. So I'm going to go ahead and look for my customer stuff. Here's some of my customer stuff. These are in alphabetical order. So I clicked on the plus sign, and now I can add things to this display. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add the sold to and the customer state. How about that? We'll just add those two things. And you'll see they get added to my list here, and they get listed right after the last dimension I had displayed, which is the product brand. So the product brand and the division are in blue because they're displayed. And then it assumes, Stratum assumes, because you just added those things, you want to go use them. So the next thing I drill, I might go here. But I really want to change the order of this stuff. So I want customer state to be in front here. So may I just drag that. So you can move things around. So this acts as a breadcrumb or a breadcrumb trail for where you've been and where you're going to go. It also allows you to alter the path that you'll follow, both by adding dimensions when you click the plus sign and by manipulating the dimensions in the order you want to see them. So, and I could drag this all the way and say, hey, I want this to start with customer state, so I can see the customer state. So you can do a lot of things there. Now, on top of that, I can do filtering as well. And filtering is, I can do that on a couple of levels. The first I can do is I can go ahead and put something in the view filter here. So if I want my entire display to be filtered by a certain set of things, I can do that. Let's say that the example I have is I want to filter on my distribution channel. So let's get my distribution channel and just get it into my filter. I'll do that. So here you can see I've got the distribution channel. I've now added that to the view filter. So I can say, hey, I really want to filter on just a certain set of my distribution channels because I've got 4 or 5 of them. I really want to focus on my, let's say, my indirect channels. So I can filter on something 2 different ways. In Stratum, you always have the ability to filter just by going and clicking on a filter. Anywhere you see this funnel means there's a filter associated with this. And the big funnel at the top here allows me to filter on everything I'm currently looking at. I can pick anything on this display and I can filter by it. It's the simplest way to do filters. Or the shortcut tip, if I wanted to say, hey, I just want to focus on distribution channel, you could click right here. If it's in this view filter line, you could click on view distribution channel and take you straight to the filter just for that. Let's just use the funnel. I'm going to come in and you can see distribution channel here is listed. These other things that are listed, these are dimensions, and I could filter on any of them. But in this case, I'm going to click the funnel for distribution channel. You can see I've got 4 or 5 of them here. And I said I want to filter on my indirect stuff. So I'm just going to click both of them. I'm going to say OK. That's the only things I want to filter on. So I'm going to say OK. And now you'll see it tells me I'm filtered on multiple channels. If I hover on that, it'll tell me actually very specifically which ones I'm filter on. So now the data in this display is limited only to those items that I've filtered on. Now, as I mentioned, dimensions can go anywhere within this view pane. So I can move dimensions from one to the other. Maybe instead of filtering, I want to put these in the columns. So now you can see that remember we're still filtered. You can see there's a little filter icon right there that allows me to say, hey, we're filtered on distribution channel. So I'm only seeing these 2. And you can see the description and stuff is along the top here. So now I've added columns to my display along with a grand total. So you can see I can move these dimensions around within the view pane, and they have different impacts. I'm still seeing only the data for these two distribution channels, but it's segmented out in the first set of columns here in this set, and then in this set, and then down at the end with the grand total, I'm seeing the cumulative, the accumulation of those. And again, I can move this. I can simply move that back to the view filter just by dragging it here, and now I'll be filtered on that stuff. So I can do that that way as well.